Greetings to those who are tuning in this early. Yes, it's about 11 a.m. 11:06 exactly. We decided to start this showcase a little bit earlier than as usual because of the time zone. We are going to be in communication with our good brother Coco Awiwe, who reside in this southern part of Africa. We go way down there. They call it close to South Pole. Yes, the southern part of Africa, our mother. So this showcase is a grounding, it's a reasoning, a meeting of the mind, hardcore for mama and the son and daughters of our beloved birthright, sons and daughters of the soil. Grounding with those who have given it on and on and on and on. Strictly service, sacrifice, and ultimately suffering. Service, sacrifice, serving, sacrifice. I repeat, service, sacrifice, and suffering. The son and daughters showcase, strictly African style. Very important, we need whoever is listening to give us a feedback. How does the sound, the audio quality come out, music wise, and especially when I will be in communication with our brother Coco Awiwe. Please, whoever is listening, just post a comment. Just let us know if there is clarity in hearing and if the audio is coming out clean and well. I believe now it's coming out clean and well, but it's more importantly once we'll be in communication on the phone via the southern part of Africa, way down there, next to South Pole, you know? Huh. Yeah. Greeting Highway Ticket. Let us know how the sound be coming out once we will be in conversation with our good brother Poco Awiwe. Thank you for tuning in. For those who don't know yet, Highway Ticket has a serious selector choice on YouTube. Just be checking his YouTube page, Highway Ticket. Top ranking selector in roots reggae. The kind we you know, we truly define as reggae and dub. I'm not talking about the boom, 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 ding, 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 techno then. Nah, organic style, you know. The heartbeat music, the voice of the people music, the message music, and all that good stuff. Yes, thank you, Highway, for tuning in. Session's going to be about reasoning, but in the background you're gonna have some militant, hardcore militant sound of liberation. So make no mistake, the reasoning and the music will meet as one. We're about to make the call in about 2 minutes. Calling. Yes. Greetings, my brother.
What's up, son of the soil? Greetings, Africa. Rastafari.
Yes, Baba, my brother. Poco, how are things? How are you?
I'm up full and strong, son of the soil. We give thanks to life. We give thanks to our ancestors, those who came before us. We give thanks to Ra, Oldumare, Gamada, Rastafari for strength, for guidance,
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yes. How are you doing over the land, my brethren?
Oh, we over here, we are well contained, and I always say we are maintaining actually, and we are grateful that we are able to do so, and we also understand that as much we are maintaining, we also hope that the same is going on for all our good brothers and sisters who are like us, who have shared the same heartbeat of liberation, the same heartbeat of integrity, and we can't wait to do the reasoning with you, because we know you got some news that we don't have the opportunity to hear. And I believe it's so important that we hear it so we can realize that, we are one and the same. We might be geographically located in different parts of the world, but our heartbeat is one, and the destiny that we are seeking is the same. So again, welcome, my brother. It's been 20 years in the making, 20 years of brotherhood, of friendship. I remember way back in around 2007, if I'm not mistaken, more take, when we first met through social media. I was new in social media, the world of Jah, and it has never stopped.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. It's been years, close to 20 years from now, ever since ones and ones, and give thanks to World of Jah, because that was the community of Rastafari that was able to bring sons and daughters of Rastafari from different regions, from different continents together. So it's one of the important cycle that contributed a lot to bring the unity and the cooperation among us. Look, right now, we've been in communication from that time until this time. We no longer have World of Jah, but we managed to link up as well on other, social media platforms like Facebook. We are now even able to communicate, to have contact even via WhatsApp. So we maintain, the communication, the divine communication, because the connection was a divine connection from the beginning, because it was a connection of the committed Africans to the African cause, the committed, Africans, to the liberation, program of African people, So that spirit, that consciousness, that vibration has kept us together from that time till this time. So we give thanks.
Yeah, yeah, it was, like you said, it was kind of divine because the world of, okay, let me just break it down for those who are not, do not understand the context of introduction that is necessary for us to, before we get into the, not only the premise of our grounding, but let's create a form of context of narrative. The World of Jah was a website that was parallel to all these other websites. I personally never really paid attention at that time. I knew nothing about Facebook and all this. I was not even at all involved in social media. So I was just very, very new with social media. Early 2000, that's when I started having my first email. Then I joined another social media, I think it was H8 something. I can't, of course, MySpace and all this. But then I came across this website called World of Jah, and I was kind of curious, so I joined it. And that's when I came across a concept I never could understand. How could you communicate, become friends with people that you've never met on a virtual world? For me, that was something absolutely never heard of. Even in science fiction movie, we hardly even saw at that time this type of communication. So I was very, very amazed. But then again, World of Jah was talking about roots, reggae, and Rasta. But it was Rasta without talking really about Africa. So I was scratching my head and say, how can they talk about Africa? I mean, how can they talk about Rasta and reggae without mentioning much Africa, the liberation, and so on and so forth and so forth. And that's when,
yes,
and that is how, when brothers like Poco and few others, Joel, Poco, this other sister from Philadelphia, we start conversion into trying to create a platform by influencing the topic of engagement about defining Rastafari equal African liberation. instead of Rastafari being a Christopherite concept of universal one love, all will be all right. When we look all around us, we saw that Africa was put at the back burner when truly Rastafari was an African liberation movement of decolonization, mental, spiritually, and physical. Am I correct in my context of description, Brother Poco?
Yes, indeed. World of Jah was an education center of Rastafari, because that was, a space where we were able to engage, to interpret, to define, and to exchange, this consciousness, so really, it's the way that you put it, you are spot on. It was our university, it was our education center. That's where, the forces of Rastafari managed to, to get together, to define and to redefine our reality, to put it in the right perspective, because really, somehow there is a need for us, the participants, those who are living this reality, to define this path, rather than to rely most of the time, from researchers, scholars, who are feeding us, the perspective of an outsider. So it was the platform that was mainly an African-centric platform of Rastafari.
Thank you. Yeah. So it was a very defining moment because we need to remember, we are not scholars, so to speak. I mean, part of the academia. We are from grassroots. Yeah, some of us went to university, some of us are in code westernized, extremely educated, but the way how we met on World of Jah, it was a type of grassroots alternative to the academia. And so we were talking about real people projecting not only their experience but their knowledge and their perception, and a type of defining ability to define reality. Am I correct in that?
Indeed, son of the story. Indeed. That is the truth that you are speaking, because in that space we managed to excavate the truth of Rastafari, and
the essence.
We put it, and we put it in the African-centered context, so that is the very important aspect, because most of the people, they understand Rastafari as a religious organization, a religious movement, as a spiritual movement. Yes, Rastafari is a spiritual movement, but it is centered around our Africanness. And it is centered around our being as African people. It is centered around the African experience, the experience of Black people globally. So it is actually emanating from the Black experience. So that's where I think World of Jah managed to capture and to advance the cause of Rastafari within that context.
Yes. But we also have to remember, and I speak from a very humble standpoint, that we can only speak from the African-centered standpoint, that culture is how we breathe, culture is who we are. So our experience is viewed through the glances or lenses of Africans, of Ethiopians, of collective history that has defined our personality on a collective level. So when we define the concept of Rastafari, it's not from a standpoint of it is a religion, it is a spiritual movement. We define it as an African experience that encompasses the entire major part of our history and our daily activity, whether it's economic, political, religious, social, X, Y, and Z. So it is not from the African-centered standpoint a religion, that's it. It's much more than that.
No, indeed. I think the African-centered, standpoint is a holistic, reality, because Rastafari is African. And we have to define and interpret everything within the African cultural, spiritual context. So, when we ground ourselves, in our Africanness, we become holistic people, and we even express and see the world from a holistic world view, from which Africa is the center. So that is the importance of the contribution that was done by, the World of Jah. But unfortunately, we no longer have that website right now, and other people, especially the young ones, who came after us, will not be able to access such information. But through us, through our experience, we will be able to share the moments with them, yeah. So, yeah, man, we give thanks for those who champion the cause and create the necessary platform you seem to advance the African liberation cause, the Rastafari cause, the Black liberation agenda.
Yes. So you just mentioned the young ones. How is it in the southern part of Africa that is close to the South Pole? How are the young ones embracing Rasta? Are they embracing it as a religion, Christopherite type, just very Eurocentric in its substance, but with a black disguise, but the content is very similar to the, to the Eurocentric form of religion, so to speak, or they're looking at it from a African liberation perspective? That's the question that I'm very looking forward to, if you can answer us that.
Yes, African Black. Rastafari in the African continent moves within the wave of the popular energy of Rastafari, and I think reggae music and the information which is available right now, whether especially on the internet, tend to be religious in terms of orientation, and most of the youths within the continent get inspiration from Rastafari in Jamaica, Rastafari in America, in Europe, because the history of Rastafari, we know Rastafari experience became an experience of Africans who were outside of the continent, and especially Jamaica, and there is a lot of influence, colonial influence, even within the context of Jamaica, Christianity, the Western civilization, as well as part and parcel of what informs and influence the thinking, the perception of Rastas, even in the Caribbean itself, So most of Ireland here in the continent follow the wave, which is popular. I would say the religious, aspect of things, because that's what is popular even among the races. That's where they, that's where they embrace, the concept. They embrace the concept of Rastafari within the religious context, because it comes, as Nyabingi, it came to them as 12th tribe, it came to them, as Bobo Ashanti, and when you check all these, houses of Rastafari, cycles of Rastafari, tend most of the time to be religious, where you find Rastas, they are too concerned, with ISIS, with gatherings, spiritual gatherings, you see, but we don't, for example, see Rastas, building factories, building, educational, institutions, for example, or being involved in some agricultural program. So most of the time, Rastas within the continent, just like Rastas all over the world, we are influenced by what is popular, in this time, and I can declare it without no doubt that yes, within the continent, you are caught up in the religious aspect of Rastafari. Most of most of Rastas, not all of Rastas, but most of Rastas, they are religious. They are only understanding Rastafari as a religious, as a faith. They will say, no, the Rastafari is a faith. So that is the reality. There are very few of our people, of the youth, who understand Rastafari, for example, as an anti-colonial movement, as a liberation movement, because within Rastafari, especially the Rastafari concept, which is propagated by Rastas who are religious orientated, they tend to shun politics, for example. They will declare that Rastafari is non-political.
I understand.
Rastafari is political. So then now they are in that manner discouraging, the youth on embarking on balanced understanding of reality. So they will shun politics, and when you engage in politics, I understand politics as a science of governance, not necessarily being involved in party politics or in electoral politics within the new colonial state, but I understand that everything is political. Even Rastafari is a political stand.
Indeed.
We stand for certain interests. We understand life from a different perspective from others, and we embrace, for example, the politics of culture, of identity. We are involved in politics. Rastafari is a political thought, so I don't understand when people, say that Rastafari is non-political, when Rastafari is a revolutionary movement. It seeks to overthrow, the colonialists, and restore Africa and African people back to their ancient glory. That's what I understand about Rastafari. So most of those who are involved in religion, they tend to discourage, ones and ones on participating on politics. You see, but there are those who don't entertain, that interpretation, who understand life, broadly, holistically, and I'm one of those people who are involved in Rastafari within that context, because I'm a social being. I must be concerned with what is happening within my society. I must be involved in any activities that are part and parcel of my community, of my society, of my nation, of my race. So I have to be part and parcel of everything which is happening, and I must be there to guide and use the irony, the light of Rastafari, to help our people and to elevate our people to the higher realms of understanding reality. So, though there are those who are caught up in this religious interpretation, religious worldview, but some of us, we are grounded in our Africanness, and we know that Rastafari is part and parcel of the global Pan-Africanist movement, is part and parcel of the Black nationalist movement, which seeks to restore the dignity and the integrity of African people at home and abroad. So that is the situation here on the ground within the continent.
So with such situation from that perspective that you have just described us, how do you relate to the current micro petty nationalism that is very prevailing in Africa? It seems all these countries, these 50 and X amount, I don't know if we're going to go up to 60 or 80, even 90, all these secession, all these anti Africans among Africans attitude that do not at all reflect the Pan-African spirit. Is it, according to you again, is it because of a lack of education, or is it because of the difficulty that the everyday people be experiencing? They are looking for a scapegoat, they're looking for people to blame. So the easier person to blame would be that so-called African foreigner that seems to be taking my job or taking my resources, or he seems to have more opportunity than me who is born in such country. But there is one thing that before you answer that question, there is no foreigner that steal your job. In the job market, it's the boss man that give job to people, right or wrong?
Yes, indeed.
So I'm not speaking from the context of where you are. I'm speaking from a continental context. In the entire Africa, we are very suspicious to one another. We do not seem to promote and project the Pan-African solidarity, unity of Africa, the economic integration to even social integration. Why is that so after 60 years? I mean, 1960 was when we were on paper decolonized. So we had like a good, my age, 61 to 62 years of so-called pseudo fake independence. But nevertheless, why amount each other, just everyday people, we look at each other as foreigners? This is something that blew my mind. We all speak French, we all speak English, we all speak Portuguese or even Spanish, and these are languages that come from outside. We embrace this language, we communicate in this language. But even though we are almost seeing each other that forever we are not going to unite, and unity is, I believe, is the key to a development, a general, complete liberation and decolonization of the African mind. But why is it that we don't seem to get it right? What is your opinion? I know you have a long question, but you see the different point that I have tackled. Can you help us to, again, your opinion, can you help us to understand this complex situation we find ourselves?
Yes, African blood. I move from a position of understanding that we are at war. That is my understanding of the reality that we're in. That as a people, as a nation, as a race, we are at war. And it is very important, for us to put everything within the context of the fact that we are at war. So that everything that is happening within our nation, our race, we can understand it within the context of war. Because Africa was invaded, the land, the minds of Africans were invaded. The spirit of Africa was terrorized. So there is a consistent terrorism in the African world. When the colonialists came in the African world, enslaving African people, depopulating the African continent, and when the African continent is being depopulated after years and years of slavery, where millions of our people were taken away from the African continent, they came inside of the continent and they colonized. And they colonized the African continent through colonial violence. And they maintain their exploitation through colonial violence. Whether it's the Europeans or the Arabs, they use the very same tactics, violence, to instill fear on us and also to perpetuate the enslavement and the domination of African people. So what we are experiencing in Africa today, right now, is the same colonial situation. We are still colonized as African people, and we are still subjected to colonial violence.
Okay, when you say subjected to colonial violence, can you give us an example? For example, yeah, because violence is not necessarily physical, can be emotional, can be spiritual, can be political, can be intimidation, can be the fact, how come I got all this raw material and I cannot sell it to whoever I want to? How come can I even not get the real fair price of this raw material so I can truly develop my country? What are the forces? What are the lobbies? Who are the people? Who are the nation that stand in the way for us to progress entirely? Give and take, we remove all the corruption excuse and so forth. How come I cannot sell at the real market value as such and make enough so that the population of those nations that are so filthy rich, yet the people remain just marginalized from the wealth of those countries? This is what you call political violence? Is that what you refer as?
Violence manifests in all areas of life.
So you say that violence is manifested in all areas of life. That's a good point.
It is physical, it is psychological, it is economical, it is spiritual, it is cultural, it is industrial, it is cosmological, epistemological. We are actually institutionalized in a white racist society, I think that is the situation that we find ourselves in. That's why, for example, we have Africans who are not able to advance the African cause, because they are attached, enslaved in a white colonial enterprise. They are agents of coloniality. Politicians in the African world are agents of coloniality. Those people who claim to be representing the interest of African people are liars, because these are the people who are funded by the very same criminals who invaded our states. They are being managed by the very same law which was imposed on us by the very same criminal. They administrate the colonial enterprise in a colonial way on behalf of the colonial master. So we don't have right now in the African continent leaders who are the leaders of the African people, because the so-called leaders are selected by the billionaire clubs, by the white supremacist establishment. They are the ones who choose who is the leader in our society. I will make, for example, the current president of this settler colony called South Africa. He was funded by the very same butchers and killers and murderers of African people. His presidency is protected by the very same white establishment. He is right now a billionaire through the criminal enterprise, being driven by the very same European invaders. But the reality is, African people are their own liberators. And when you talk of African people claiming that other African people are foreigners in Africa, and they are coming to take their jobs, if you check that context alone, will tell you that there is something wrong with us. For example,
yeah, that's a backward thinking. I think so. It's very backward to see it like this.
Yeah, because these people will claim that an African who's coming from Zimbabwe, who is here in Tanzania, is a foreigner, is because he is a South African. And what is a South African? And who is a South African? South Africa is a colonial construct. It's a genocidal identity which was imposed on this land by the European invader. So the mere fact is that these Africans, people who are supposed to function as African people, to have their identity as African people, now today they don't function as African people, they function as South Africans. And to me, the mere fact that you are a South African, you have actually robbed yourself or divorced yourself from your Africanness, because you cannot be a South African and an African at the same time. Because South Africa was created to destroy Africa. South Africa is a colonial enterprise to perpetrate genocide in the African world. So you cannot be an agent of genocide in the African world and at the same time representing the interests of African people. So, for example, I'm not a South African, I'm an African. That is my identity. I only function as an African, not as a South African. Because to I, South African identity is a colonial identity, and I cannot embrace the identity which was imposed on my people by the invaders in the African world, in the African continent. So that is the problem. That's why one will see someone who's coming from Mozambique as a foreigner because of this colonial mentality, this colonized mindset which is functioning within the African family. That's why even today they don't work together with their African brothers and sisters who are coming from other countries within the African continent, because we are told by the European invaders that you are a South African, you are a Mozambican, you are a Zimbabwean, you are a Congolese, you are a Rwandan. This is actually a criminal enterprise that was constructed, engineered by the Europeans and the Arabs to maintain the domination of African people. Up until we attain the African consciousness, because the African consciousness is the one that will actually automatically unify us. We will see ones and ones as one people, because there will be no division among us because we have one identity. But these colonial identities are actually detrimental to our unity. And I think they are playing a very important role to sustain the enslavement and the colonial, and the colonial enterprise in the African world. Up until we function as African people, only that time when we'll be able to overthrow this colonial mindset and overcome as well the domination which was imposed and sustained through colonial violence by the European invaders and the Arab invaders in the African continent.
So
we cannot work together. We cannot work together as African people without the African consciousness. African consciousness is a prerequisite for the unification and the cooperation of the African people. So long as we still operate as South Africans and the Congolese and all these settler and colonial identities, I don't think we will go any further rather than to be stagnated in this situation that we find ourselves in.
So I see. When hearing you, it's almost like an upgrade of Biko narrative and Sobukwe. It's things cannot be fixated in time. There's always a logical evolution in the thought process. And hearing you, it's like an upgrade 2025 Sobukwe and Biko. So, do you consider these two great African mind to be an influence within your political education?
Yes, indeed. Those are our forerunners. Bandu Biko, Mangaliso Sobukwe, the Black Consciousness Movement and the Pan-Africanist movement in Azania are our movement. I'm part of that movement. I'm an Africanist, being inspired by Biko and Sobukwe, Limbedes, who are actually aligned with Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, and other revolutionaries all over the world. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm involved in the struggle to advance the Pan-Africanist cause. So those are the people who inspired us when we were young, to carry on with this fight, to carry on, with this mission of liberating African people, Yes, and the mere fact that they were killed, by the enemy forces, it actually shows us that they were the real people, because we know that there are those who were not killed by the enemy, instead they were protected, they were funded, and they were actually, given the necessary resources to maintain coloniality in disguise. So the likes of Biko and Sobukwe are the ones who inspired us, and they continue to be our leaders, spiritual guiders, and the political, philosophical leaders of our revolution within the context of this settler colonial arrangement and within the broader context, because Biko and Sobukwe, they were not actually speaking on behalf of South Africans, they were Africans. The Sobukwes and Bikos are those who rejected South Africanness.
I see now. Okay, I understand now. I really do. I really understand now the distinction. But because I would love to to express this, because it's very important. The name Azania is actually a name that we gave to this land. The likes of Sobukwe and Biko. Azania is a name that you gave to the land where you stand, right? Wow. So now that's it, Azania. I'm going to use the term, the word Azania.
The land of black people. That is the definition of the word. The land of black people, Azania. That is the meaning, according to the context of the revolutionary forces here in this occupied, territory of ours. Yes, that's the meaning of the word, and it is the Pan-Africanist movement and the Black Consciousness movement who embrace Azania, not the Negroes who belong to other organizations, who rejected Azania and they have embraced South Africanness. They don't have a problem with South Africa. They are proudly South African, but some of us, we totally reject South Africanness and Africa.
So
is our only home, is our only.
So at the early stage of our conversation, you stated that you don't see much, or you don't have much faith in African current elite leadership. I have three names or three nations that are giving us, as of now, a semblance of hope, because they say that you can lose your mind, you can lose your house, you can lose your everything, but one thing as a people we must never give up is hope. With hope, yes, we must never give up the hope that one day, the sooner the better, but time will give us reason and right, that one day we are going to reconquer the soil of our mama, that one day we are going to clean up all this mess, that one day we are going to offer opportunity to every African born in Africa. We are going to open our gates to people to come to the soil of Mama, and it will be an Africa that we have dreamed of, one that is stable, one that is self-sufficient, one that knows how to defend herself, one that projects power, dignity to the four corners of the world, that when we'll be stepping outside of Africa, Mama Earth will tremble when they will see us. That day, that's the hope that we have, and that the few among us who think, work, sacrifice themselves, who gave their service for the making of an Africa that is not yet materialized, you are among them. What do you think about these three West African countries named Burkina Faso, named Mali, named Niger, who are attempting to break the shackle of dependency, who are trying, using their mineral resources to sell it at the real market value? Is that not arrogant? Is that not an insult that we as a people cannot truly develop ourselves, cannot be free of all form of destabilization with the so-called jihadists who are just trying to disrupt our development? How come and why are they capable to have all these weapons to destabilize the region of West Africa, when all what we want to have free trade, free commerce, stability, peace, so that we can focus on development issue? We don't want to fight, we don't want to war, but we must defend ourselves. And how? Again, my last point, why is it that this country along the coast are always acting against the interests of West Africa as a whole? Why is that these countries remain neo-colonialism, whereas the country from the Sahel, Mali, Burkina, Niger, and we hope Chad is going to join us, the personality of those countries who used to be great empires have a concept of nationhood, a concept which enabled them to resist, to stand against neo-colonialism. It's a long question again, but I know you capture my main point. Basically, yes, what do you think about the Alliance, the Nation de Sahel? AES.
Yes, I know this way. You know, the political class in the African world are criminal. They are actually the stumbling block to our liberation. To get rid of them would be beneficial to the African world, African people at home and abroad, you know. So I don't have any respect for them, because I know they are the agents of coloniality, they are the agents of imperialism, they are the agents of capitalism. They are only there to, you know, to safeguard their colonial interests, because their interests are aligned with the interests of the invader. So the politicians in the African world are criminals, most of them. You know, when you talk of AES, you know, you have to think of the real leaders of the African revolution. At this time, at this moment, we recognize General Assimi Goïta of Mali as the leader of the African Revolution, because the fire started to burn in Mali, led by General Assimi Goïta. Then after General Assimi Goïta, Captain Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso followed in the footsteps, and later on Niger, under the leadership of Brigadier General Abdurrahman Chiani, advanced the same cause. So AES right now represents our collective interest. They are the champions of the Africanist cause. They are the real revolutionaries. In actual fact, they are the people who are capable to dismantle colonialism, to dismantle imperialism in the African continent. I stated earlier on that colonialism is violent and is maintained by violence, and if we are not functioning to neutralize the violence of the invader, if we are not willing to fight back to destroy the colonial violence through revolutionary violence, let's forget about the liberation in the African world, because colonialism is violent and is maintained through violence. These three brothers from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they understand the nature of colonialism, and they have responded perfectly well, against the forces of coloniality in the African world. And they understood the purpose of violence to neutralize coloniality, to neutralize neo-colonialism and terrorism in the African world.
So you are saying that you are saying that the situation that is happening in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, that these so-called terrorists or jihadists are really nothing but the tools of their objective is to destabilize these nations so they do not become successful, because if they do become successful in their attempt to liberate themselves and to truly decolonize themselves, and on an economic level to improve the life of the everyday people in those nations, these skeptical other countries around them are going to join them. And what neocolonialism do not want, they do not want the success of these three nations, because these three nations appears as we speak to be the blueprint of a process of decolonization, which is going to be a long process, but it takes steps, it takes a process to achieve a certain goal. So that is the reason why this country have been invaded, have been marginalized, have been blackmailed by the world community, even though if you look around the world, all the black community and also non-black community are buying into supporting these leaders. Everybody love Ibrahim Traoré. They all love Ibrahim. They all admire Mali. They all look up to Niger. They give us hope. So what we who are not over there, what can we do besides being online and supporting them and so forth? What advice do you give us, we who are outside of Africa? What can we do to show our support?
Yes, African blood. Those terrorists in the Sahel who are attacking Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are part and parcel of the Arab terrorists, Arab imperialists, Arab colonialists in the African world. They are expanding, their presence in the African world. But within that context, the Western world are using them as well to advance their colonial agenda, So these Islamic militants, though they are Arab, pushing the Arab agenda, they are also pushing the Western agenda as well of destabilization in the African continent and of neutralizing the fire which is burning in the Sahel right now, And I think what is needed from us Africans who are outside of the Sahel is the alignment. We're supposed to align ourselves with what is happening in the Sahel. I mean, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are a unified state today, right now, under the leadership of General Assimi Goïta. He's the president of AES. So we have a government in Africa today, right now, a union government, not AU.
This is so true. Unbeknown to many, we have always believed that never in our lifetime we will actually witness the establishment of a borderless Africa. But guess what? In a matter of few years, we've seen the concept, we've seen the technocrat, we've seen the ideologue, we've seen the thinkers working night and day non-stop, and constructing, implementing nation building concept into reality. And this is where the hope comes from. And I'm so impressed and so proud, and I cannot be more proud to witness that at least in my lifetime I get to see the most important step, the first step at the most important. What do you think?
Yes, indeed, because Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, and the Democrats, they tried to build and to create this union government in the African continent. But they were sabotaged by the traitors, by the agents of coloniality, Hence Nkrumah was overthrown, and Modibo Keita, and they have managed to neutralize that vision of a unified, government in the African
That's continent. Very true. Modibo was sent to jail. He was sent to jail. Yes. And Nkrumah, when he was visiting another brotherhood and sisterhood country, he was overthrown. Men like Amira Cabal was assassinated. Men like, we can just name them. It's always the sad over story during the 60s and the 70s. And we don't even want to mention about this nameless one, those faceless one, the technocrat, those behind the scene, those who had the ability to conceptualize, to envision, to write down, to write some economic plan of integration. They were sidelined, they were forced to be exiled. Some fell into drugs or alcoholism because they were rejected, they were marginalized. These thousands and thousands of Africans who wanted an Africa that was strong, clean, prosperous were deliberately destroyed, deliberately sidelined. And I've witnessed it with my own eyes growing up. I've seen these people, I've seen these well-capable Africans who knew to run countries, who knew to develop an economic plan beyond the average, who were sidelined, dismissed, rejected, were forced to take the entire family to leave the country. Otherwise, they would have been jailed. They would have been lost into alcoholism and all this. And Obama's father was one of them. Obama's father was an economist who tried, but he was dismissed. And you know the end of the story. Yeah, it's important to mention that part of our history that most people are not aware, that even many of the younger generation are absolutely unaware. All they think about, all they mention it, they are corrupt. Corruption explains everything. Africa is not right. It's corruption. Africa is not doing right. It's because of the leaders. The leaders are this, and always all the dirty reputation that we seems to be the barrier of bad news.
within the African world, we have scholars, we have researchers, people who are dedicated to the advancement of the African civilization, who are totally committed in the decolonization of Africa and in the total liberation. And they have done a lot of work. They have published a lot of, of articles. They have managed to publish a lot of research, which is actually good for the African world. But the current crop of politicians in the African world are criminals. Most of those people, most of those scholars, intellectuals, the technocrats who are advising them sometimes and give them noble advices on how to develop the African society, they get killed. Some they get neutralized, by the very same political class because they don't want, to see their ideas taking over the society, because these politicians are pit bulls of white terrorism. They are the pit bulls of white supremacy, and they are there to frustrate anyone who's coming up with any program that will elevate African people, because their interests are aligned with the interests of the imperialists. Even if that is perfectly good for their society, their communities, their nation, but since their political interests are not aligned with the people on the grassroots, they are not interested in doing anything that will advance the African cause, because they always dance to the tune of their handlers, So the political class today in the African world are the real stumbling block, are the real criminals who are maintaining and sustaining, the energy and the life of colonialism. Otherwise, if we can get rid of these Negroes, of these sellers, of these traitors who are selling the soul of their own people, selling the future of their own children, they are selling, the resources of the African continent, for them just to be millionaires and multimillionaires, to live in the white world, to live like white people, and to be connected in the white world, in the colonial world, because that's what they are living for. They are living for white fantasy, just to be part and parcel of the white world. I think what is needed right now is for us to align ourselves with the real government, which is now existing in the African world. The AES, led by General Assimi Goïta, the president of AES. He is our leader of the African Revolution, and we're supposed to align ourselves and give support to what they are doing, and to do something that will actually connect us with what they are doing, and to extend as well the operation of AES beyond the Sahel. We must have a Sahel experience in America, we must have Sahel experience, all over the continent, in the Caribbean, in Europe, wherever we find African people. We must see African people being aligned, psychologically, spiritually, with what is happening in the Sahel, so that where we are, we must advance the cause of the Sahel revolutionary movement, because these are our leaders. I'm not talking about AU, because AU is a club of neo-colonialists. I don't consider them as nothing important. I don't see any importance or even relevancy of that institution right now. The AES is our leader, is our government. Ours is to support what is happening in there and align ourselves and make sure that whatever that we do as part and parcel of the AES community. Wherever we are, we must be connected with that vibration which is happening, in the Sahel, that frequency. We must be aligned and we must vibrate in the very same level, and and do what we can do in our own spaces to advance the cause. Because our revolution, our program, is pan-African, is global. Because African people have a global presence. So what is happening in the Sahel must extend to all parts of the African world. You see, and by doing that, I think we will do something noble for the African, revolution and for our ancestors. And I think by doing that, we will be able to empower, the revolutionary energy and spirit and institution in the Sahel, and that will also be able to empower us wherever we are. Just like what Gavi said. Gavi said, we want in Africa a government powerful enough, strong enough, scientifically, militarily, economically, industrially, to defend the African people. Wherever we are as African people, we must be so powerful that that government can sustain and protect African people wherever wherever we are as African people. And I think AES represents that government that was envisioned by Gavi, because AES is a black power government, and it's not a government of neo-colonialists, of boys and girls of coloniality. No, it's strictly African people who are committed to the cause of the African Revolution, to restore the dignity and the integrity of African people. And they are willing to sacrifice, to suffer, and to serve African people, and those brothers, they represent, the collective interest of African people, and they need our support, and we must support them by any means. We must give them support and necessary resources, natural resources, human and even spiritual resources. We need to empower them, to give them the courage that they have, so that they can move forward and spread that fire all over the continent, even to outside of the continent, to the Americas, Caribbean, because wherever we are as African people, we must be liberated from white supremacy, from colonialism, from external control and domination. That is what we're supposed to be thinking and fighting for. And those brothers are the champion of that cause.
Well, I say this, and I know you're very well aware, that everyday people are not fighting for ideas, concept, analogy. People are fighting for better water, better electricity, better job opportunity, better housing, better education, a guaranteed better future for their little children and babies, a real paycheck, a real living paycheck, living wage, and all this. So behind all those concepts of intellectual or Pan-African and so forth, the bottom line, when you remove all these concepts, this is exactly what everyday people are hoping, fighting, demanding, working towards to improve their everyday life. I mean, this is a basic human right to have access to in 21st century, even 20th century. It shouldn't be a privilege, shouldn't be something almost like a cake in the sky or pie and all this kind of nonsense. It should be fundamental, basic human right to have electricity, water, housing, living wage, decent education for the future generation, the formation, the ability to express oneself, to the ability to create, to the right to leisure, to entertainment, a life full of dignity. And this is what third world Africa, we don't even use the term third world anymore, but the inequality that exists between the have and the have not, or those who are forever going to stay in a marginalized position, when the demographic of Africa is almost like 18-year-olds. By 2050, the average age in Africa will not be more than 20. Am I correct, or I'm exaggerating? I think I've seen some of these figures somewhere, that by 2050 the youth population in Africa gonna be so huge. In comparison, the other world outside of Africa, they'll be just too old. So the future is us. So that's why there seems to be fighting over the mind of our consciousness to subjugate us for another 100 years so that we don't make our demand become a reality. But eventually we'll have to make the demand of that huge population of youth met. Because if they are not met, we are really the little nice ones. Those coming behind us are not going to be that patient in terms of, that's demographic. That's a basic mathematic. By 2050, just look at it. By 2050, the youth population is going to be way too huge to contain. And they are complaining about people trying to get on boats or going elsewhere and so forth. That's part of being young. When you're young, you want to take the step to change your situation for bettering your life. It will be better to better our country, to allow people who are willing to engage in developing Africa and to create all the necessity that are required for a modern society to involve itself to serve the interests of its people, instead of just having a situation of war, disabilitation, and etc. Do I make sense?
Yes, indeed, son of the soil, yes. According to your observation, you are spot on, the youth age group is growing, and we really, in the next coming 30 years, the youth will be the dominant factor in the African community, and I know for a fact that right now the enemies, they know that, and that's why they try by all means, to kill the young ones, to kill the youth,
through drugs, alcoholism. It's just, you see how now all these youth are being just caught up into the drugs. Well, yeah.
You see, drugs are actually instruments of coloniality. Alcohol, entertainment, sports, they are used actually to distract, and to divert the attention of our people, especially the young ones, and to take them away from the fundamental issues and to keep them in the state of fantasy and illusion and of perpetual death, social death within the society.
So you are saying that drugs are a diversion, they are tools to create a fantasy, to create a means to distract, to detour the attention or focus of being engaged in the liberation struggle, alcoholism, music, football. It's insane how all these things are not viewed in the context of they're just for fun. They are tools, they are weaponized, you mean?
Everything is weaponized against us. Everything is weaponized against us. Even some of the things which are also fruitful and, very helpful in life, but white supremacy, they have managed to package everything and weaponize everything against us. Sport is good. Sport is something that is beneficial to one who is involved in it. But sport is also a tool, which is used by the enemies to keep us away from the revolutionary path, to keep us in the state of illusion and fantasy, away from the black reality, just like entertainment, to be an artist, to be a musician is something which is good, but music as well can be utilized, against us as well. Entertainment.
Explain me that. How can you explain that? How they use music against the consciousness and the awareness of mental colonial liberation? How?
You seen, for example, I will make an example about this settler colony, Azania. Before 1994, we had music in the African society, African community, which was very
engaging
very
music.
engaging at the same time. That music was a music that was conscientizing us. You know, I mean, we used to listen to Mama Miriam Makeba.
For the struggle, liberation music.
You know, to conscious people who were actually involved in the struggle. They were using music to advance the struggle, to advance the revolutionary cause, and to conscientize the society.
The cultural revolution.
In our communities.
That's
but
true.
Post-1994, in this criminal settler colony, the politicians, you know, and their handlers, you know, suppressed that kind of music. Instead, they promoted a music which is actually, you know, devoid of consciousness, especially African consciousness. Music which is now about drugs, about alcohol, about sex, about, you know, things which are not actually relevant to our cause, you see, you know. And even right now, the music that the people are playing, you see, today, in here in this settler colony, I would say that there's a music called the piano, the house music. That music, most of the time, is actually taking our minds away from reality.
That's so
just
true,
to be caught up in the pie in the sky, you know. So it is part and parcel of psychological warfare to advance the colonial agenda, you know, because they know culture is part and parcel of the instrument of humanity. Every nation has got its own culture, you know. Yet they know at the same time that if they allow us to be using our cultural seed, our cultural asili as African people to produce music, you know, that music will be an instrument of liberation. So they have to take us away from our cultural center and, you know, and put us in another position, you know, off-centered, where we become off-centered as African people, where we function outside of our center, you know, at the periphery of the European society, where even music tend to be an entertainment program, you know, in entertainment project, where even the capitalists are the ones who are actually the beneficiaries, because even when the producers, people write music, they tend to write music because they want to achieve something. Most of the time, money, fame, you know, they want to be involved or to be closer to the, you know, to the mainstream society as well, you know. So that is the problem that we are currently experiencing in the African world, where we are actually psychologically engineered to function against our interests. So even what we produce, whether it's a poem, you know, a music, it tends to be something which is an instrument of our enemies against us. So the lyrics that we hear today are no longer the lyrics that used to conscientize, and these young artists, they are no longer concerned about the society, the black society. They are only concerned about this dead style that they were introduced to by the colonialists, the love of money, love of material, you know, the eagerness to attain the material possession which Europeans control, because that's what most of the artists, you know, seek to achieve. They want to live like white people. They want to have big cars, German cars, you know, Ferraris. They are into that fantasy world. They are not even using the resources that they are gaining from their music to build schools in our communities, building factories in our communities, building necessary institutions within our communities. No, we don't see them doing that. We only see them doing parties all over the world, all over the country, you know, being caught up in alcoholism, in drug culture. So that is how music is used, is weaponized against our interests by the invaders. So that is how I observe, how I see, the weaponization, of music, even the arts itself by our historical enemies.
Yes, but Poco, Poco, how come you are so seriously liberation educated? How was it possible for the making of a revolutionary mind such as yours within a context in which you had to go through the process of indoctrination, brainwashing, miseducation? How were you able to liberate yourself individually? Was it a collective effort? Did you grow up in a space where people were decolonized emotionally, politically, spiritually? How did you become the person that you are? Because I'm just like, look at this. This is the type of African in the continent that we want to see up and down, all around, so we can enact the final stage, which is to decolonize our awareness and consciousness. And you appear to be that perfect example. So how did you become? Are you an autodidact? Did you go to the university and all this? Did you read 1,000 books to become the scholar, the liberation African defender that you are?
Son of the soil. I'm a product of my community. I'm a product of Black experience, African experience.
So you say you are a project of your community. You are a project of Black awareness, consciousness. You are the product of all that.
Indeed, because I'm one of those who were pushed out of colonial schooling system. For when I was, at high school level. I was pushed out, by them because I was, I was expressing myself as an African.
Wait a minute. You say because you was expressing yourself as an African, they kick you out of schooling?
Yes, they kicked me out. They pushed me out of their schooling system because I embraced my Africanness, and I expressed myself as an African. I embraced my identity, and they had a problem with that, and then they pushed me out of their schooling system. Then I embarked on my self-taught, self-education, from that time till this time. So I'm not a product of their universities. I never went to university. I'm grounded in my community. I live in my community. I work in my community.
But my friend, you are more educated than all these people who spend 4 years or 10 years in these Eurocentric institution of higher education. I'm not lying to you. I work in a university, and when you come across these so-called students, they are like zombies. They look at you down, they think they're so superior because they are, they go to university, and they look at the others like they are below them. And it's like, I can't believe it. I remember back then when we used to be in university during the 80s, the gap between those who were in university, those who were, let's say, working class type of people, they would communicate, they would talk, there would be no separation, there would be no attitude of classism. It was an interaction between, let's say, the working class and the student. But here is like, no, you are a working class, you're below me. I don't have time to even waste my my so-called ego with someone below me. It's so hard, difficult to look at it, because I remember it was because of those who never went to school who sacrificed themselves for all this generation to be able to attend college, to be able to go to school, to be able to go to university, and now they turn around like we just some piece of just push aside. Why is it so? Can you please explain? Is it like this in South Africa? Are those who go to university think that they are better than those who never set foot in their higher education institution? Is it like this too?
Yes, even in this criminal settler colony,
What?
it is like that.
Even like this?
The Western trade, because these are mega silent situations. They are not educational institutions, because they were brought in the African world by the invaders to perpetrate the genocide in the African world. So they are not there to help us, to build us. They are there to program us, to condition us to be their agents and their, and their perpetrators, of their colonial agenda in the African world. So even here in Africa, right now, the young ones go to these institutions, they come back with nothing, most of the time. We live with them within our community. They are certificated, but they can't even help themselves. They can't even do something for themselves. If there's no job for them in the job market, to them, they can't do anything. It's difficult because this miseducation actually creates a dependency syndrome.
Thank you.
And it makes them, to depend on their colonial masters, on their industrialists, and their economic, system. So if white people have not created any jobs for them, they can't do anything, because even those courses that they are doing in that colonial educational institution is the job which is owned by our historical enemies. The industrialists, the people who own the economy, who own the industries, who own the job, right now.
So this is good what you say that, because we hear often, and not only here, but all around the world, the foreigners are the one taking the job of the poor people or the everyday people. But the truth is that foreigners do not take the job from anyone. It is the boss man and his connection who give you the job and who take away the job, who offer you a job, who open you the gate for you to work for them. So it is not the so-called, in the context of foreigner taking the job from people who don't want to do the job. It's not like this. It is really those who hire you who give you the job. It's not the other way around, right?
Yes. In actual fact, it is a deliberate program by white people to destroy and to disempower the Africans in this criminal settler colony. They are actually using any weapon at their disposal to perpetrate, the disempowerment of the indigenous people. Because remember, we are those who are born in this settler colony. We are the ones who have the energy, the will to overthrow the system because of what we have experienced. Being born in this settler, being killed by the Europeans who are called South Africans, But someone who's coming from Somalia, who is coming here as a merchant, he might be an African, but one cannot function like those who are born in this part of the world. So Europeans now, through divide and rule mechanism, they are actually now depriving the Africans of this land, the opportunity, and they allow other Africans, who are coming from other parts of the African continent, for example, to gain opportunity because
so this is like a buffet situation. They create a buffet. They bring, just like during colonialism days, the British had to go to India to bring the Indian in Uganda, in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, or whatsoever, and turn them as a buffet to become the traders between trade, business, and all this, so that they will not have to deal with the autonomous, with the Africans, so to speak, trade class system or commerce or traders from Africa. So they went and get those from India or those from Syria or those from Lebanon. That's why now in Africa, in West Africa, you see Lebanese, you see Syrian, you come across Indian who actually been there for generations because they were brought by the colonizer to become a buffet to prevent. Of course, we have solved that issue. Many of us now have replaced and all these things and so forth. But in the early days, during colonialism, 8-year days, they will use the Indian and the Syrian as a buffet. Correct? Am I correct in that?
No, you are indeed correct. And if you can also check, the situation of the conflict in the African countries is the same modus operandi of this divide and rule mechanism, where the colonialists are using other Africans, to create this buffer zone, so to create the necessary environment for them to advance and to perpetuate the colonial agenda in the African world. So, for example, in Ivory Coast, I remember there was a clash between the indigenous people and those who are coming from outside, And
yes,
the reason is
Burkina Faso and all that. That's very true.
Those who are coming from outside, they were given opportunities by the colonialists, and that actually rendered the locals, to rebel and to revolt against the white supremacy. But now, within the context of fighting with their own brothers, because now their brothers, they become complicit, in the crime against, the indigenous people of the land.
I understand.
So even here in Azania, it's the same thing.
So this is what's going on in Azania. That's why, unfortunately, the reactionary reaction coming from the brothers and sisters from Azania who turn against those who are not born in Azania. It's I see. Yeah, so everybody's been used in that context.
Indeed. And especially now when people function as South Africans and Congolese and all that, the South African consciousness, or a commitment to African nationhood, because when you are having this African consciousness, is because we are committed to an African nation building program, because we cannot be committed to an African nation building program if you are a South African, because the South African is only concerned to build South Africa, to secure South Africa, even at the expense of other African countries,
I see. Now I really see it. I see now. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, African part.
No, please go ahead, please.
Yes. So I think what is necessary for us to escape this colonial madness is to embrace our African identity so that we can understand this condition within the African context, not within the South African context, because a South African is, if you function as a South African, maybe an agent of colonialism, agent of confusion, because everything that you will be thinking that you are solving will also bring confusion in your mind, You see, because South Africa is a colonial construct. So when Africans function as South Africans, they are actually caught up in the colonial madness, and that colonial madness will never advance our interests. And what is necessary right now, whether you are coming from Zimbabwe, from Congo, from Ghana, you must be Africans first. We must function as Africans, because that will also allow us and give us understanding that at the end of the day, when we engage, we must engage as brothers and sisters, and we must find solutions that will empower us as African people, not as South Africans, but as African people. Hence the aspect of African identity and African consciousness become a basis of nation building. And even to solve these contradictions within our society, they need us to function as African people. Because so long as we are not functioning as African people, we'll be caught up in stagnation, in backwardness, and in unnecessary conflict among us. Because this is engineered by the colonialists. It's something which is engineered just to maintain colonialism, because that is the ultimate agenda of them, is to maintain the status quo. Because they know if we are caught up in this stagnation, in this backwardness, in this endless conflict, we will never go anywhere. We will never be liberated as well.
And that's what we see. We just turn it in circle. We see it. We just turn it in circle. We don't appear to be moving in the progressive, positive direction. We just like a circular, obsessive, compulsive, repeating the same issue, and years after years, from the day we are born to the day we're going to leave this realm, we appear to always be stagnating.
Yes, African body.
So
we need to break this change now. We need to break these things. It's been a very long time, more than 500 years of colonial bondage. We need to break these things and set Africa and African people free from all forms of alien rule, control, and domination. That must be the ultimate objective of the African liberation movement, including Rastafari. Rastafari must be focused on the issue of African liberation, because African liberation is a prerequisite to repatriation, reparation, and restoration. We cannot seek repatriation in slavery when Africans are enslaved and colonized, and we are obsessed with the program of repatriation. We're supposed to think about the first things, things that we must do, initially, because African liberation program and project is a prerequisite for any form of advancement as a nation. We need to overthrow the enemies and to take over our land, space, and sea, and to have the total ownership and control of our resources and utilize our resources for our interests as African people, and develop the necessary security systems, social systems, economic systems to advance our agenda.
Well, I say this, what you say is so true, because a couple of days ago, I watched a show. It's called Shashamane. It was a very, very interesting documentary about Shashamane. And of course, you see the early ones in the 60s and in the 70s, going through the revolution in Ethiopia, how Ethiopians did not understand why are these people in Ethiopia. They couldn't make the connection that during the mid-30s there was a war that many African black people from the West left everything behind and went to join the Ethiopian army to fight with the Ethiopian against the fascist Italian who tried to take over the country. They gave their life for the liberation of Mama Ethiopia, and they could not understand why these Jamaican or these black people who were not Ethiopian but who came to Ethiopia and choose to live in Shashamane. And these are some basic knowledge, basic information that we among each other seems to lack the ability to communicate, to make them clearly understand, and they make us understand their situation. And what we are having now, you and me, we are communicating, we are talking, we are opening some topics that for many appears to be topics they never thought about, or topics that is kind of contagious, picky, so to speak, and that people find it very difficult to openly talk about. I think we ought to speak about these topics. They are necessary to bring not only clarity, but to bring information and knowledge that will help to to build our knowledge in the topic that we are addressing. I can never say the word, but still, the conversation that we're having is very necessary. It's one that I really want to salute, and salute your courage, Poco, for your impeccable, correct political education and knowledge and awareness. Your level of sharp analysis that you has offered us concerning Azania and concerning the nation of Sahel, which I'm one of them. I was born in Mali. And one thing about, again, this identity of West Africa, not along the coasts, but those huge empire from Mali, Burkina, Niger. We understand nationhood building. We understand the vastness, the huge space that is ours, that belongs to us. We understand the magnitude of the visual reality of where we belong. And this is, I believe, what seems to somehow separate, unfortunately, those along the coast and those from the interior. Those from the interior were not too keen to deal with the outsider who came with some nefast, negative, dangerous, vicious, evil intention, which was just to capture the labor, snatch it out, and to take it to their new world after the authorization from the Pope, who gave them what you call the doctrine of discovery, that because we in West Africa were not Christian, he gave them the spiritual and religious authorization to snatch Africans and to put them in that boat and to make them Christian, but to make sure they'll be working in their plantation to enrich the early stage of the slave trade, which was just to enrich the nobles, the nobility in Europe. You know, the kings and queens who had to give you seal of authorization, who had to allow the authorization to build ship designed to put those snatched Africans inside those boats and to reach Brazil, to reach Colombia, to reach Venezuela, to reach Honduras, all these nations in South America, all these nations in Central America, all these nations later on in the America. It was the blood and the sweat of the Africans from West Africa and Central Africa who literally gave everything by force to build the new world. And that was authorized by the Vatican. And later on, the French and the English and the Danish were envying the Portuguese and the Spanish. Say, oh no, they're making too much money. We must learn their method. We must study them and apply it so we can enrich our royal court of France and England and Dutch. And this is one of the reasons why I don't understand why today Africans are so in love with the kings and queens of Europe, when actually these kings and queens of Europe are the ones who got so filthy rich out of the sweat and the blood and the suffering of the African enslaved ones. But then again, we never see the connection because we don't study history. We don't even want to learn. That's why history is an instrument of power. Nobody can remember what happened 2-3 months ago or 4 months ago. I cannot remember what exactly I did. So the process for us to understand history is nothing but a make-up, simplified remembrance of what happened long time ago. How can you remember what happened 2,000 years ago, 200 years, 400 years ago? So those who are educated in writing down that history, they write down what the powerful people in charge want them to write to justify their power, to justify their authority. So all history that we read right now is nothing but the projection of those who have won wars, those who want to whitewash, those who want to embellish their achievement. But the truth, history without discomfort, the type of topic that we are having right now, it might make some of you discomfort. It might make some of you kind of uncomfortable. But this is what needs to be done, because pretty good looking history that make you feel good is propaganda. Pure propaganda. It's not real history. Real history, again, real history is a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and a lot of make-up narrative, again, that justify those who are in power. So until we can be in power, the history, the narrative that we want to promote, that will justify our authority, our legitimacy, will still be sidelined. The Pan-African narrative, the one that we want to promote and push and impose, so to speak, until we enter the corridor of influence and of power, decision making, is always going to be one that's going to be looked in a kind of way. And that's the reason why these three countries that we have are so important, because they allow us to see the vision of a Pan-African political decision making in action in real life. It's more than experimental. It is the end result of people who have served their country, who have sacrificed themselves, and who have suffered for a unified, prosperous, strong, respected black world, Africa.
Yes,
and you are one of them, my friend, my brother. The lesson, the class that you have offered us today is one of top level. And I hope that people will go back and listen to this very show and upgrade their assumption, their distorted knowledge or information about all what you have been talking about. because what you said is quite objective. You had no reason to distort it. You had no reason to exaggerate. You had no reason to promote falsehoods. You're a noble son of the soil, my brother, and I'm proud to call you Brother Awiwe Poko. What's the meaning of Poko?
Yes, son of the soil. Poko is a Xhosa word, means pure, undiluted, pure. Yeah, so when we use the term Poko, we refer to the Africans who are undiluted, pure African blood. Africans who are not, diluted to any form of coloniality, So Poko means the pure African blood, one who's committed purely to African experience, African blood experience, So that's the meaning of
Poko.
Poko.
Okay, yes. Mean undiluted.
Yes. Undiluted, pure African. So when we express, ourselves, as Poko, we mean that we are those who reject any form of coloniality, who express ourselves from an African standpoint. We are not diluted to any form of cultural imperialism, who are proud, and honored to be African culturally, spiritually, cosmologically, epistemologically, in all aspects. We are those who don't entertain any form of coloniality. So the real Poko warriors are those who are committed to that cause.
It's good that you say what you say, because most people don't even think or believe such thing exists. They believe that they have captured all of us, regardless of where we are, who we stand, how we look, that they have captured every bit of our soul. So your soul is to the Poko state of being out of Africa, from Africa. Yes, Poko.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So, where have you been outside of Tanzania? Which country have you visited in your... Yeah.
Yes, son of the soil. Within the continent, I've managed to travel to Zimbabwe, to Botswana, and to some parts of Mozambique as well, Yes, within the African continent, I'm still looking forward to travel, the whole of the continent, because that is part and parcel of our education as African people, because we're supposed to know Africa from all aspects, from all angles, from all directions. We must link, communicate, and share everything together as African people, And I've managed as well to travel and to visit the Caribbean as well, I've been
Oh yeah? You traveled to the Caribbean?
Yes.
What?
I did manage. I went to Jamaica, via Panama.
What?
Yes, so I had an opportunity to link up with the African family, in Jamaica, the Rastafari, the African blood family, and to reconnect our energy, our spirit after 500 years of separation. I was there to reconnect, to rejuvenate, the energy of our Africanness, and to make sure that as African people we are able to pull together, because the aim and the objective is to attain the unified state of African people. And we cannot attain that unified state when we are not able to link, to visit, to communicate, and to share, responsibilities and an obligation together as African people, So I was there to reconnect with my African blood family so that we can be in a better position to advance the Pan-Africanist cause.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I've never been to the Caribbean. I've never been to Zimbabwe. Never been to Mozambique. We love to see Zimbabwe. We love to see Tanzania. We love to see Angola. All these southern parts of Africa, we love to see them. And who knows? Eventually, I can make my way down there. I'll make sure to see you and to reason face to face. For 20 years we've been knowing each other, and what about the other brother, Sipwe Mosiah? How is he doing? It's always a big pleasure to read some of his posts. I remember before 2000 he used to put some information, and but I don't see him anymore. Is he still on social media, or he's just so deep into the scholar academic? He seems to be more academic. Is he, or what? He gives that impression to be very academic type.
Yeah, no, the brethren is around, it's just that he's not too much on the social networks.
Yes.
He's still there, Yeah, he's a scholar,
Oh, yeah, he's like, ooh, I said, look at this. That's...
yeah, he's one of those who managed to reach the university, and he's embarking on the African scholarship within that context, but he's still there, grounded in our African experience, still in our community, still pushing the works, just that lately he's no longer too much on the social media, maybe he's cooking something, let's just wait for the to come forward at the right time. He's the one who is always, uplifting the black nation, the black race.
Sure, absolutely.
In Africa, he's Marcus Garvey. He's known as Marcus Garvey,
Exactly.
Because Garvey is one of those who are the advocate of the philosophy and the opinions of Marcus Messiah Garvey. So he's there, and I know very well that something for them.
Right now, I'm going to be dropping names about all these brothers and sisters over the years. But you know what? Please, when you see him, look at him straight in the eyes and tell him, Seska Fasimba is sending you the deepest hopeful salutation as an African defender. I have nothing but respect and love for this brother. You and him, you are one and the same. I remember talking to you a while. Sometimes we used to converse through the social media, and always it was a deep connection that I have developed with you and Brother Mosiah, because you full of substance, full of deep commitment for the dignity and total, liberation of Mama. Now there's other one. What? Oh, wait, go ahead. I'm listening.
We give thanks for the words of upliftment, of motivation. I will definitely pass the message to the brethren, and I will look straight to his eyes and tell him, yes.
And also, there's I remember there used to be this sister, but I can't remember. Her name was Zay, something like this, in the early 2010-11. Used to be with Brother Mosiah. Z, I cannot. And she used to be deeply involved into the commitment also. Yes, Black consciousness, exactly. I can't remember her name, but she used to be very present in on social media, and sometime I see her, but now she became like again another scholar. After 10-15 years, people just turn into I guess into the accumulation and the end result of those years of studies. What about another sister named Soil Daughter too?
Yeah, the sister name, her name is Zan.
Yes, that's her, Zan. Yeah. Again, when you see her, look at her straight in the eyes and say, FASIMBAS Seska is sending you the salute. That's like 10-15 years ago in my early stage of joining social media, connecting with the brothers and sisters from all over Africa. These are one of my fondest memory of reconnecting with the brothers and sisters from Africa. Was you, Mosiah, was her, and the other one named Soil Daughter, and also the sound man, the one who had the sound system. He was traveling all around. Actually, he got invited to Brazil, to Europe, and all this. If you see all these brothers and sisters, we might not be communicating anymore, but tell them that they're always going to be here in my mind when I think about my African brothers,
Yes, brother Siska, our sisters are still around. It's just that, she's no longer on the social networks as well.
Yes.
Just like Tandale too. And I think it's because of her commitment to work, because she's working in the academia.
Of course. Yeah.
So then I think, her occupation, robs, us of her wisdom, because really, we used to learn, a lot from the system.
Exactly.
And in actual fact, I worked with them, in the Blackwash, movement. We were working together.
Yes, Blackwash, I remember. Yeah, that term. I remember exactly. And also the wall of dignity. You used to have a wall of dignity. I used to remember all these pictures on those posts on Facebook in 2010, 2011, and 12. It's been a while. Yeah,
indeed, together with the sister Black Soil,
Yes.
Black Soul. Yes, we traveled together around 2013 to Zimbabwe. So they are very close to I, and I will definitely, send, this message to both of them, because I'm still in communication and contact with them, and they are there. They're still committed to the cause.
Absolutely.
Still committed to the cause. It's just like the occupation sometimes and the work one is engaged with, tend to to take them away from us, away from the space, but they are still there on the ground, still pushing the way, and I will let them know that Brother Seska, loves them, honor them,
Poco, also one thing I have to share with you. I have books and books and books and books and books. If I had a magical wand, I'd take all these books and send them to you. But if you take like 3 books, it's so expensive to put in the post office. It's impossible to even mail things like this. I have books that's been just stored for so many years. I don't even have space in my little apartment, so we have to put them in the storage. These books, I will freely just give them to all the people back home, no problem. So until we can do something, it's going to be here. Okay, so please don't think that I forgot all what we have shared, but it's just like the post office is like a boycott for Africa. If we want to send things to Africa, we pay 3, 4, 5 times more just for a little bit of weight. And these are the things that our future and current real progressive leaders will have to tackle. They will have to tackle this structural injustice reality that we are confronted with. You know, the everyday people are not capable to do the things they want to do because of a financial limitation. We are not corporate people. Our financial resources are just what they are. For example, if I want to send you like 5-10 books, I'm going to pay at least like 200 just for the books. When the books are a fraction of that cost. So this is the reality, you know, and many other situations that we have. So until we find a solution, we are on standby on that note. I know I promised to send you books. So until we can solve all these issues, they're on standby. I know.
No, we will definitely find, you know, a way. We will definitely find a way to bring the material within, you know, because definitely sure we can do it. I think it will be one of our assignments from today onwards.
But you also
to make sure that.
But you also know that I remember sending through email a digital library where all these many of these books were included. So until we can send the physical ones, we will do the digital exchange of information. And you even have some universities that give you access to all these books of knowledge. And it's true. Yeah, I've came across sometime. So we will be hunting and scouting for this type of digital information that we can put our hands on and share it with the community, the global community of those who are engaged in reading, exchanging ideas, and building their capacity of developing a Pan-African mindset. True autodidact means autodidact. I mean people who do not go to university establishment yet aside educate themselves beyond the level of masters and PhD holders such as yourself, autodidact, someone who learned that require extreme discipline and focus and determination to be your own teacher and your own student, and to read and read and read and read and read until there's a mental breakthrough of mastering what you have been studying. And for that, I salute you, my brother. You are the example of how many of us, among us, need to step on that path of autodidact and of African study and world history study, and basically to be a student. I salute you for that, Poco.
Yes, African Black. No, give thanks for that. Give thanks, and I think the links that you sent, they are very requestful, you know, and you've managed to download, you know, the material, you know, let alone that there is a limitation when you know, when you control the soft copy,
yes,
you know, of the book, you know, and you can't use, you know, that book. You know, outside of, you know.
Yes.
Hence, I'm committing myself to find ways and means on how to come up with a better way, you know, of bringing the material, because it can work better if it is the hard copy. Because I mean, we have senders We have created spaces, educational spaces within our communities. We have established libraries, in our communities. So that material can be very helpful to our community, especially the content. Because I know very well that the material that you're talking about is relevant to us. Because I know who you are.
No, to be honest with you, thanks. You see, that's my late mother. My late mother used to be a top Pan-African journalist, and through all her career, she was collecting books after books after books, and she left us all these books to me and my brother, and it's serious, and when I look at your work, when I look at all the things that you do and stand for, Yane, here she is, everybody can see her. When I look at your work, and I said, if only I had a magic wand, I will look through many of these books and give them away to brothers like Poco. I will keep some, of course, but I know I cannot have all of them. I just don't, and we have been so happy to be able to donate. That's the term, to donate this book to a space like you are describing, and who knows? Eventually, one day. Step by step, bit by bit, who knows? But as of now, the fee for postal through the mail, through box, is so much that this is not a endeavor that can be handled on one man's shoulder. It's just not possible. So until then, we're gonna find a way. Eventually, I know if we look for means, if we articulate our thought and our ability to research, we can find ways. But until now, they're just sitting in a storage, and I even need to go through them, But they are yours if we find ways how to ship them. That's what I did. And a good brother from UNIA, unfortunately, he has transitioned. Baba Tunji used to be the president of the UNIA of the Baltimore Topman chapter. He was going to work on ways how to send, because he was able to send some books to Zimbabwe, some school materials, so forth, etc. But unfortunately, he passed away 2-3 years, 4 years ago during the COVID. We lost so many good elders, brothers during the COVID, It's a different landscape now. It's even here for us, I do liberation music. For us to be involved into physical liberation music is almost impossible. The price to rent the space is so expensive. People are not into those type of liberation music anymore. They don't know about it. They're not interested, or they think they know about it but have never heard. How can you know something that you have never heard? Tell me, how that, So the digital world has basically replaced the physical reality work world. So it takes upgrade, readaptation, and I want to say thank you to those who helped me to be able to transfer, to readjust to this digital world, so that people can be aware of FASIMBA. People have never known about FASIMBA if I didn't get on digital. Never, I, again, do not have the ability to promote and to make my work known beyond the few around that do know me. So, there's some pro, there's some con of digital reality, versus organic reality. So we try to strike a balance and to be here and to be there. But we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of improvement to obtain in order to be really efficient in connecting in virtual organic world, sending you these books. You know, we got work to do, to be honest, on my end.
No, in the time of the soul, and I will also take this opportunity as well, you know, to honor your works, you know, and to encourage you to continue with what you are doing. You know, you'll be following the page, you know, the FASIMBAS from that time, you know, and even today we are still following the page, you know. We play very important, you know, music, you know, which is the relevant music and African liberation sound, and also the platform is an educational platform which informs us of what is happening globally in the African world. So continue to do what you're doing, African Blood, you know, and what you are doing is actually healing a lot of African people who go through a lot of, you know, challenges in life. And I know very well that each and every time when they, you know, they log in, you know, and listen to what you are doing, definitely sure they are gaining strength and inspiration from the work that you are doing. So,
my brother, I thank you. Thank you.
You know,
but it's
grounding us in the radical music, you know.
It's very inspiring and encouraging, and I just want to say thank you for saying what you just said, because we are not just voice in the wilderness. You know, we don't know the example that we present to others. We never aware of this. We don't even know who we are reaching. We have no control. So to get the feedback that you just offered, it's mutual. You know, it's something that is necessary to be shared and to be heard. It gives us another extra push. And in these days and time, we do not seems to acknowledge each other, you know, and it is so important to acknowledge one another. We are not perfect, none of us. We're not talking about that. But it's so important to acknowledge my brother, my sisters. Because most of the time, these brothers and sisters go against the grain. Most of the time, these brothers and sisters are isolated into a sea of indifference and ignorance, you know. So when they hear that whatever they are doing has a tiny ripple effect in the universe, it's so important because it shows to others who are still undecided to act upon their ideas, their goal, to just get into the action of doing it, of working, of realizing whatever they are projecting, to implement actually that vision that they carry within, especially if it's the vision that deals with progressive ideas, with liberation ideas, ideas of integrity and dignity. So I take it all and I say, Wadada, thank you. And I also want to remind you that this is the first part. There's going to be a part 2 before the end of this month, Poco. And
yes, sir.
Very important now, I want you and me, the two of us, at the end of the show, to go back to the show and see how we can improve the quality of our first meeting. Whether the audio, how can the audio be improved? Just I want us to critique this show, and I hope that people are tuning in and they can please be honest in their feedback. How do they find the content, the quality, the sound? How can we make part 2 a better exchange in terms of quality of the sound and content? What can we talk about? Which topic can we address? I would love for us to reach that level of open communication to improve the content. And I also want you to hear it from me that you are always going to be a guest anytime you want to join the showcase. It's yours. All you gotta do is just reach out and we find a date, and we have a open showcase on the whatever topic you choose to, Brother Poco.
Yes, African. We give thanks, Brother Seska, for the love, for the commitment to Africa, to the African cause, and for doing what you're doing for the African people. Because I know for a fact that you are driven by the spirit of Africa, It's the spirit of our ancestors which sustained the program from that time till this time. It's because of the love of your ancestors, the love of your people, that you're doing what you're doing. And we give thanks for that. And definitely sure I will go back, and listen to the show, and I will give you the feed forward as well. And I know there are many people who are listening, and they will definitely contribute to improve the standard, because not is about improvement. It's about improvement.
Thank you. Yes.
On daily basis, we must improve to be better people, because we are striving to be better people in anything that we do.
Thank you.
So even technically, we must improve as well. So I will make sure that I will go back to the program, to the show, and listen and analyze it and observe everything and give you the good forward.
Because this is just the first one, and just like me, I remember when I first started doing these showcase, and it's been like 5 years, gonna be 6 years. When I first started, all these walls used to be empty. I only had a few pictures, and I mean, through the years, through my commitment, to my listening to feedback from brothers and sisters, looking around, trying to see how I can improve, like you said, and slowly, surely, or dramatically, or I just see it. But I know we have so much space to improve, to be better, to be more better than better, and just taking it further and further in terms of quality. And I cannot do this alone. I need my brothers and my sisters to be honest, to be direct, to tell me what are the pro, what are the minors, what is good, what is not necessary. Because, hey, that's how it is. That's how it is.
Yes, that is the thing.
So I say thank you, Poco, for this reasoning showcase. And again, by the end of this month, there's going to be a part 2. So we have to get together and find a time and a date and fix up the flyer and promote it and be ready for the next one.
Yes, we are looking forward. We are looking forward to the next, conversation, and I know very well that whatever that we are doing It's for the love of our people and definitely sure it will be beneficial to our people at home and abroad because we are African people and we are reasoning as African to deal with our African affairs, our African issues. So we are there and we are ready, we are willing day and night to serve our people in all aspects. So thanks, and I hope even the family at home, they really enjoyed the show and they learned something from the show of today. And I'm looking forward to our next engagement.
Give thanks and send all my greetings and salute to all the good progressive brothers and sisters down in Azania. Tell them that we are looking forward to have more communication, more back and forth dialogue. Tell them that they are not forgotten and tell them to please do not forget those of us who are outside of the soil of Mama. Wadada.
Wadada son of the soil. Rastafari.
Yes, this was Brother Poco Awiwe. We want to thank him. Thank you for the reasoning, the grounding with this good brother from Azania. We're going to run some music for a little bit and then thank you for those tuning in. We're just trying. Here, Wadada.
money? Why Babylon want so much money? They take away money and give it Easter bunny. Why Babylon want so much money? Them take away money and bring it to Scully. Why Babylon want so much money? Why Babylon want so much money? Them take away money from grandfather money. Why Babylon want so much money? Why Babylon want so much money? They take away money and give it Easter bunny. Why Babylon want so much money? Them take away money and bring it to Scully. Why Babylon want so much money?
have any additional information about this very young singer. It's called Cleaner. The tune is a quite high demand in Central America. Why Babylon wants so much money? This is what I understand. Cleaner, I send the cleaner. Yeah, it's a bad cut though. Seems to be almost like 8-year-old, 9-year-old.
We want to be happy, bold and free. That is what we want to be. We need equal opportunity. That is what we want to see. Tired of the lies and hypocrisy. We need justice and equality. Plan? This a government one. What is your plan? tear down the walls that dividing the nation. People need freedom. People need freedom. In reality, they need freedom. The people need freedom. You see, what's your plan?
Come make we forward, back to Africa. Come make we forward, children. Forward out of Babylon. Forward, children. There's no place like Mount Zion.
They call you. So long, so long, so long. So long till they call you.
Anywhere I go, I'm Selassie I earth. Rastafari's always there to greet I first. Anywhere I go, Rastafari's with me. Yeah, yeah. Anywhere I go, I'm Selassie I earth. Rastafari's always there to greet I first. Anywhere I go, Rastafari's with me. Yeah, yeah. Rastafari never let me down, never make me frown. No, anywhere I go, I'm Selassie I earth. Rastafari's always there to greet I first. Anywhere I go, Rastafari's with me. Yeah, yeah. Anywhere I go, I'm Selassie I earth. Rastafari's always there to greet I first. Anywhere I go, Rastafari's with me. Yeah, yeah.
for all those tuning in. Thank you for those who post comment. The next showcase, we're just gonna give it a little rest, and we're gonna come with more guests, more artists, and down the line we hope we're going to have a open phone call so people can join in the discussion, conversation, reasoning, grounding. So until then, thank you. And remember, the warrior stand is a must. Mental warrior. Focus. Vigilant. And always to keep hope alive. Even close to be defeated, we must keep hope alive. We might lose many battles, but we will never appreciate the victory without understanding why we lost battles. So more victory to fight another day. And with victory come loss, so we accept our loss. But we are not defeated, because we get to fight another day.